Most of my videos on my channel right now are from the Road to 2200 ELO series, but I have been stuck in the 1900s for quite a while, and that is why in today's video I would like to show you quite a nice winning streak. I think it was actually really impressive that I got just today, and I played a variety of openings. I think I actually played 4 different openings in these 4 games that I'm going to show you. And yeah, let's get into it. I also got a couple of brilliant moves, so I think this is some impressive play. And yeah, so let's take a look at game number 1, which I've played against this Romanian. And I get the white pieces. And just yesterday, I started to look into the Catalan opening, which is still d4, which I definitely prefer d4 over e4. So d4, and we get c6, and I continue with c4. And now they play the Slav defense, which, as a Queen's Gambit player, you know, I most of the time play the exchange variation and play like this, you know, develop my pieces in this way. But I was like, okay, I really want to try the Catalan because I think this is just an awesome opening. So I do go with knight f6, knight f3. He responds with knight f6, g3, bishop g4, and obviously this is my first time playing it, so I really didn't know what am I doing. Now the best move here is knight e5, which is quite similar to one line that just popped in my mind, and it's actually the Marshall defense. So okay, sorry about that. Let me just go into that. Right, it goes like this, and after this here. Takes, you play knight f3, and now after this, then you go knight e5 hitting the bishop. I don't know why, but it just popped in my mind. However, I do play bishop g2 in this line, e6, and now I just castle, and I get a pretty comfortable position out of the opening. Bishop e7, and I do play queen c2 because, as you can see, this pawn is already on c6. So if I would go like here, it's completely fine with the engine. But now if they take, and then I have to play knight e5 and win the pawn back, which obviously doesn't make a whole lot of sense. If this, and let's say they still try to protect the pawn, then you can just take this apparently on b5, and if this, then okay, I get that. So basically, this bishop would be an absolute monster in this line. So I play queen c2 though, which I thought was a very reasonable move, and now he gets a bit of an advantage, but bishop g5, I trade out the bishop because I thought my bishop would be really bad here, stuck behind this pawn if I ever play e3. Takes, e3, knight e4, and I play a4, basically stopping my opponent from playing this move right now. He plays b6 anyways, which I thought was a bit of a weakening move because now this diagonal is just very, very good for my bishop. I play knight bd2 with the simple idea of just trading it off. And now, after he took, I wasn't really sure of how to recapture because if I take with the queen, then he could possibly take. And okay, the best move is h3 apparently, and I mean, if you don't take, then I guess I can hop in, or I can play g4, force the bishop here and then go like here. So that is actually the top computer line. However, I do take with the rook, which computer doesn't like. Here I just go back and I play c5 right in the center, which I didn't think was good because now the move rook d1 that I played the move 8, I thought was really strong because now this queen is kind of, you know, this is on the same file, and I thought that could get exposed. And after the move c5 I just took, it was actually slightly better to take this pawn, but this is good as well. And now he makes a mistake and plays rook c8. He should have just taken this back and say this is okay. However, he does play rook c8, and now the best move is to just take the pawn, which does make a whole lot of sense. And after he takes, I can play c6, even just try to promote this pawn. I make a mistake as well, but I don't think it's actually so bad because queen b3. The best move is to just take this back, which is what happened in the game. And then I take this pawn, and I thought this was just absolutely crushing for me. It is not, however. It's actually slightly better for my opponent. But after he takes, that's actually a big mistake because now I take back with the rook. I'm hitting the queen, and now I play knight e5, which I thought was a really good move. As you can see, queen f6 was quite a huge mistake because now after knight e5, He played bishop e6, and this looks very scary, but I did see that, and now Pop Quiz tries to find the move, only winning move, that keeps this advantage. Otherwise, I mean, you're just gonna take, and I mean, as long as good as this bishop is, you're just gonna be down in exchange. So there is this one move that you have to find, and the move is 97, and it is the move that I played in the game, and it's so beautiful because if you're gonna take, I take the queen with check, and after takes, I obviously take, and I have 5 points of material in a completely winning endgame. Another thing that you could do is you can move the queen, and you know, then I'm just gonna take the rook. And after this, I am still pinned, but the best move is rook 81. And after you take it, I could even take back with the queen. And now this is obviously winning for me. I'm up a pawn, and I'm definitely having a more dominant position. My bishop is definitely better than his bishop. So the only thing I should be worried about is probably not reaching an opposite color bishop endgame where it could probably be drawn. However, he does take my knight, which I didn't even consider being an option. But now I do take it back, and he plays a5, basically solidifying his bishop and saying that I'm never ever gonna get rid of it as long as I don't sack my rook for it. But I'm like, okay, I mean, if he's gonna be a bit slow, I'm just gonna take the whole d file for myself, and I'm just gonna double. I was also thinking of a move bishop d5, which is actually a great move as well, because now it's really hard for black to move, but I thought that there is this move, right? And I mean, this, I mean, you know, like it's not so great for me. So I play rook 81, and now rook b8 is a mistake because of the move bishop d5, which I don't file. Play queen c2, because I was just a bit scared of the pin. Also, you can see the huge time advantage on my opponent's side, so I need to pick up the pace a bit. Queen e6, and now the bet was actually bishop to f1. You know, preparing this. However, I do not play that. I'm like, this king is weak, and if I just get my pieces into like this, you know, this area, I'm just gonna be in a very, very good position, and there will be tactics in the air. So that's why I play rook 1d6. And now, I mean, just look at these rooks, completely dominating these two files. The queen slides to a2, and now as you can see, a couple of you know, good looking moves, even if they are good looking. I mean, they're just our inaccuracies, and now it's very bad. I find the best move here. I play bishop d5, and now this is very, very bad for my opponent. He goes queen white check, I go king up, and now this is basically over. The best move here, which would be mate in 8, is this, which I have seen, and I really was tempted to play that. The idea being that if this, now I can play this check because the pawn is pinned. Now this. Now I can take here. I basically finished the game off with checkmate. I do play a different rook sacrifice, and that is rook takes f7. It is not really a sacrifice, and the idea being now is you can't take it. If you take the rook, now, okay, now I have to go, there is this threat, by the way, so going like here would be an absolute blunder because of this. So we have to be a bit careful about that. But I was thinking I go here, and after this, I think I could go here, no, sorry, here, and then this rook is pinned, and you go queen f5, and you just finish the game off. You pick up the rook back, everything is protected, and the rook can't take the queen. But he plays king h8, which is mate in 2, and I sacrifice the rook here. It's not like a crazy sacrifice. Obviously, the idea being if you take, this is just a checkmate. He goes to g8 though, and obviously this is mate in 1, which I have missed. So, you know, this was just to show off kind of. I sacrificed the rook again, and now this is just a checkmate. So I thought this was a really cool game, obviously sacrificing both of the rooks, and even though it looked like my opponent kind of played all the correct moves, I got an insanely good position for myself. So this was the first game. Now let's take a look into the second one, where I got the black pieces now, and he plays e4. I play my favorite Sicilian, and I played the classic accelerated dragon when knight c6, d4 takes, and I play g6, saying that I'm gonna fianchetto my bishop over here. He plays bishop e3, and I obviously play bishop g7. Now queen d2 is a bit too early for this, but there is this line obviously where after you develop your minor pieces, you can go queen d2, preparing to cast long side, basically just launch these pawns at me and play something like bishop h6. But I am quite familiar with that, so this is just a bit too early. I play knight f6, the best move, and now here the best move is d5, which I didn't even consider. Now I was like, okay, I just gotta castle as soon as possible. But now after knight c3, I do play the best move, and now I do play d5. He takes, I take, and now as you can see, I already got a bit of an advantage. If I do play the move queen to c7, which I didn't even consider, and I played the move bishop e6, because my idea was, now if I take, obviously just takes, and this is just obviously completely over. So I was like, if I'm just gonna develop a piece, and it might be weird putting the bishop in front of the pawn, but it's not like this pawn is gonna push, to free this bishop because it's already developed. So I play bishop e6. It's not a terrible move, it's just not very accurate. So bishop h6, the best move is to take. I take over here though, he takes me, I take the queen, and I'm just accepting the endgame because I thought I'm a bit more developed. He obviously takes, I take, and now he takes over here. And I play the best move. Okay, the better move would be to actually bring this rook, which I quite don't understand because, I mean, this rook can always go to the B or C file, but this rook, I mean, it can possibly only go to the D file, but it doesn't really matter. We trade h3 and I play a5, and the idea behind this move is actually, I thought, was really clever, because this knight is a bit too overwhelmed. So I was like, I could take this pawn if, like this knight is protecting these two pawns, so I could potentially, obviously not right now because it just takes, but there could be tactics where I could take this pawn, and if I'm able to, get rid of the knight, this could be hanging, this could be hanging, so I'm gonna like go a5, and if the knight moves, then I could take, and right, let's say, I don't know, let's say he like, okay, wait, here a5, and now let's say he goes like here, and then he wants to, maneuver his knight. But the idea is that if I would ever be to take and he would not take me back, then I could play this and kind of make sure that my bishop is safe here with this trait. So that was the idea. But a3, rook g4, bishop d3 is the only move, and I play c5. And now I kind of want to skip through this because it kind of does, ruin the video a bit, because after this I play a horrible move, and this is this, where I obviously blunder this fork, which is crazy, but he doesn't find it anyway, so let's just continue and say that this hasn't happened. I move the rook here, he takes, I take, and I was quite confident here, because I'm definitely more active, and I like my pawn structure more, because this is just going to be a target for the rest of the game. He plays rook e1 only move, and I'm gonna go knight to d7, with the idea to go here, and basically, here, let's say push, or even make sure that this is not a thing. He goes g4, which I thought was really aggressive. Knight e5 is the move. He goes here, knight f3 hitting the rook, and after rook f1, because, wait, I thought, yeah, if you go here, then I obviously have this now, so that's basically over. So you have to be really careful here, and also I thought that after rook moves anywhere, I could have the d4 square for my knight, which is obviously great. However, after rook f1, I noticed that knight g5 is just a fork. This is just a straight up fork to these two pawns, and I'm just winning one, and you cannot do absolutely anything about it. h4 takes, bishop c4, and I slide the rook to f6, which is the only winning move. He plays rook e1. Now this should get punished by knight d6, which is the move that I play. Obviously you can't take because your bishop is hanging. Bishop a2, and I play e6 now, making this bishop a lot worse than it was before, because now it's staring into a protected pawn, and my light squares are very good. Rook d1, knight b5 actually kind of does hang the game because of rook d7, and that is the move that he chose. But I guess it's just that he gets really active, and now, you know, there is pressure on this pawn because this pawn is pinned to the king. The better move would be knight to e4. But I guess the knight is more centralized. But now we get this position, and this is equal according to the engine. But I thought I just have so much activity that it's very hard for him to defend. Now I thought this knight is very good over here. He plays c3, knight f3, maybe should have gone check here, but I do play knight f3, and now g5 is the move, because after I move my rook, he can take my pawn. Now, obviously, if I would be just to take this pawn, then he goes here and picks up the knight. So I cannot do that. So I'm like, I'm gonna throw in this move, attacking the rook, and also protecting the square, and you cannot really go here, because then this, and I'm gonna probably take this, you're gonna take this, and I thought that I am the one playing for the win here, because I have this good file for myself, and I'm probably just gonna make a passed pawn and just try to run with it. But rook c7, I take the pawn, and now bishop b3 is very passive because of c4. And that's a great move, basically making the bishop very bad. Bishop a4, now I sneak in this check, which I thought was really smart. The engine doesn't like it, but now I go check, and this is actually mate. This is actually mate, here, 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 and this is checkmate. I did not see that though, so I play rook h2, which I thought still was crushing, and it is absolutely crushing. And the move is bishop e8, which, you know, sacrifices the pawn. And after something like this, I could just go like here and I'm completely winning. But he goes rook b7, hangs this fork, and now after this, it's obviously light work. I make sure, now, a good lesson here. I play rook e5, making sure that the king is never gonna, you know, cross this file. The only try that he has is to play bishop e2, which is what he did. And, you know, I try to run with the king like this, but then I'm just going to get to these pawns and pick them up. f5, and now he hangs his bishop as well, and he leaves the game. So that was the second game. I thought that was very cool as well. Now let's take a look at another one, where I got the black pieces once again. And yeah, let's just take a look at that. So he plays d4, and against this I got a very interesting opening, and that is the Taraj defense, which is when I play c5. And the idea is that if you're gonna go take stakes, I'm obviously not gonna take back and give you this pawn, but I am gonna play d4 and throw in this, and after this I'm gonna play this, take stakes, and it's very hard to save the pawn, and basically you go from here being down the pawn, but being more active. But knight f3, knight c6, and now bishop g5 is actually slight inaccuracy, because I can play f6. So I spent some time here and went for knight f6, because if this, I am able to just take with the pawn here, which engine doesn't like, but I thought that is what I would go for if he would be to take. But e3 takes takes, I'll play bishop e7, being very solid. I just castle, and I actually equalize from the opening as well. So I feel like the opening phase is my strongest phase of the game. I just gotta work on my middle games a bit. h6, and now I take this pawn after the bishop draws back, because this bishop has already made a move. So I'm like, you know, you have kind of wasted a tempo. Bishop takes c4, and I play knight a5, hitting the bishop. He goes back, and now knight d5. I was thinking about playing knight d5 here, but I thought there were too many pieces pointing at it. So I was like, I'm just gonna get rid of the bishop first of all, and then I'm gonna play knight d5. He drops the bishop, bishop d6, knight e5, centralizing the knight. And now this is not a great position for me, but I do come up with knight c6. He goes back, and now this is actually not a good continuation for me, but he did not see the best engine line that, you know, we both basically missed that. The best move is to take, which is what happened, and now I'm supposed to drop here, and now you're supposed to play queen d3, threatening this checkmate. However, now I play knight takes c3, which is even worse, because he can throw this in, and after I stop it, you can take this, and after knight d5, this is basically a crushing position. So there you go. Because of the two bishops and this very, very strong pawn. But he takes back, and bishop c5 and queen f3 is actually what he gets, and for the first time I'm actually in a losing position in this video. Queen e7, and this is actually very bad for me, because something like queen e4, you know, these two bishops are very, very, very strong. g6, obviously only way to stop it, bishop f4, and now I come up with the move king g7, which I thought there are definitely tactics, and you could probably, you know, like just go, not right now because the queen takes it, but in the future you could go like here, and just saying, I'm just gonna completely bulldoze into you, rook fd1, and as you can see, this one move and the advantage is gone. b6, look at this move now. I really was proud of this move when I played it, and as you can see, I spent about 33 seconds on this move. Now what the hell does this move do? Are you not just done blundering your rook? Yes, but no. The best move in this position is to play queen f3, basically trying to probably go here and threaten mate over here. But the line that I have saw is obviously, I mean, I wanted to place my bishop over here, right? Because now my queen is protecting it. So I was like, okay, if you make a random move, let's say you want to give some breathing room for your king, I just go here now, and now my bishops, I would argue, are even better than white's. So that is why now black is actually better in this position. I'm gonna swing my rook over here, get some trades, and this is just a much better position for black. But what if you take the rook? Well, as you can see, it's already a mistake, and the line that I've saw is bishop b7, queen takes a7, and rook a8. And now I am very proud of this because it still may look that white is okay, because white is gonna take the rook, and after I take back, aren't they just up 2 points of material? Yes, they are up 2 points of material, and they do get 2 rooks and a pawn for a queen, so they get 11 points of material for 9. So it may look that, you know, what actually, you know, what is better. Well, they are not, and I've spotted this, which is really great, and I'm proud of it. White's got no attack. These 2 rooks are not stronger than this queen. They just are not. And now my bishops are stronger because of my very powerful queen. And it shows, and it shows it perfectly. He plays a completely normal looking move, and he blunders mate, basically. He blunders mate because of queen b7. I play queen h4, which is not a good move, by the way, but it's still completely crushing. The point is, I'm hitting this bishop and I'm hitting this bishop. The only way to basically not lose the bishop here is to play g3, and that's what he does. Queen h3. Right? Tell me how you stop mate here. I got news. You can't. You can't stop mate. You can't stop mate. And now this bishop is just an absolute monster, and it all started with this b6 move, so I'm really proud of that. And the game finishes in style. Queen h3, bishop takes h6. He just basically sacrifices everything. He sacrifices the rook, and then he gets mated. Absolutely beautiful technique from me. Really proud of this game, especially the move b6. So this was the third game, and let's get into the last one, where I got black pieces again. So 3 games with the black pieces. So, okay, I'm not just Sicilian, you know, you know I love the Sicilian if you're watching my videos. And now he plays c3, which is the add-up in Sicilian defense, basically saying, if I'm gonna push d4, well, they're just gonna take, and I don't want my queen out. So I want to take with the pawn, so c3, and now the crucial move here actually is d5. To kind of break the sim. Now he gets e5. Now there is a way that you can push d4, which is one of the top computer moves. I like to play knight c6, d4 takes, and now this is just very equal. Now I play bishop g6. I mean, no bishop g6. I play g6, and even though I know this is an inaccuracy. I'm getting myself into quite a comfortable position. Now the move that my opponent would have to find here is bishop b5, which I don't think is natural. Like you're kind of weakening the square, and now my bishop is good. I don't think this is quite natural. But f4 now, being brutally aggressive, I do get my other. I just get another piece out, and now bishop g4 is the top computer move, and I basically reach exactly what I wanted from the opening. My opponent plays like a very poor move here, I was thinking, and he spends, what, 4 seconds on it. h3, obviously very bad, because now I can just take, and the idea is if you take like this, I'm just going to go here and just, this is very bad here. There could be even, if I'm able to protect the knight, I'm just going to go rook c8 and, threaten some nasty things here. So that is why he takes with the g-pawn, making sure that he doesn't lose a pawn. But now his pawn structure is very, very bad. I play queen b6, which is not great, but I'm just basically hitting both of these pawns. And he responds with a move knight c3, hitting my pawn back. And the only move here is e6. I could have played rook d1 here as well, but you kind of don't want your rook to be sitting into your pawn. You kind of want it to be on the open file, so that is why I play e6, bishop b5, knight e7, developing a knight, and saying if you're gonna take me, you're just gonna lose the bishop for. Basically, I'm just gonna reincarnate this knight over here. But h4, basically like nothing move, nothing really happens. So now I play a6, and I do, as I said, reincarnate the knight. h5 now, very aggressive, but I shouldn't really be scared. There is no pin. Like if, let's say, I just play a random move, takes, the bishop can take back, and it's very, very happy on this diagonal. I could also move it like here, pressure it out on this diagonal. So this is obviously a very good position for me. So now I take the free pawn and say, I'm just up a pawn, what do you want to do? And the reason I'm taking with the queen here is because if I take with the knight, which is actually better, which I'm very, very confused and surprised about, well, first of all, I'm gonna get pinned. There is this move apparently, which is very cool. But first of all, I don't want to get pinned. Second of all, there is no immediate threat with this move. There just is not. There is not. And I also have queen a4 check. However, if I do take with the queen, then I'm threatening a queen trade, and your king would have to take back, which is probably not what you want. And I'm just offering an endgame. With this pawn structure, you do not want to play with white. But he takes it, I take, and now there is this threat and there is this threat. This is not a huge threat because after he moves the king, knight to c2 wouldn't really make a whole lot of sense because he can just move. And what did I achieve? Rook c8, making use of this completely open file. He goes here, and I play knight e2, which is apparently a mistake, which is really crazy to me. What was the move here? Knight f5, hitting this bishop and preparing this. Yeah, so if you're not careful, I don't know, let's say you just make a random move, now we're just gonna get forked. But knight c2 I thought was a really great move. I guess I do get why it's not so cool. I thought that after he goes here, which is what happened in the game, I thought there could be this. It's obviously not working because this, and now he has kind of equalized. I still think that black is better. But now after I take the knight, I guess the point of knight c2 not being that good is that now the king can come forward. And I place f. Okay, now he plays. Now I do play f6, which is actually a huge mistake. So this is one of these two mistakes that I made. The blunder in the previous game, where I blundered this fork, and now this is the second very bad move, which I have to reduce these. And the idea is that h6 is the best move, kicking out my bishop. And after this, there is an only winning move, and that is this. If I take, you obviously take. So that's the idea. And now this is actually better for white. However, he doesn't find it. Rook C e1, and now this is light work. This is light work. I have to be able to win this. I go king f7, saying if you're gonna take, I mean, you're never getting rid of these double pawns, and my king is also very active. You're not special. Knight a4. I go check. Basically, you know, forcing him. I mean, not forcing him, but offering him that if he wants to trade, he can, and I'm just gonna have 2 active rooks, and I'm gonna have a better pawn structure and just win this game. King d3, and I play b5. And also, the reason why I played bishop c5 is that now if I would have gone here, you have this move, but now when the bishop is over there, you know, the knight has to come back. I pin it, and I'm just very happy to trade off, and I play a very cool move. I thought it was rook c4, saying this king is never coming forward. I'm hitting this pawn, and that is why this pawn structure is so bad, because it's so easy to attack these pawns. I'm able to come to a4. I'm able to, you know, double up, and you know, I'm able to even take and kind of get my king across here, because you're never getting through this pawn structure with your rooks. E takes, king takes, rook h4, and I just double. He plays rook c1. I play g5, which is apparently a mistake, but I don't think it's so bad, because the idea is if you take it, I go here. You can trade the rooks, but this is winning. You can go check. I'm just gonna slide back, and or I can even take the pawn as well. Yeah, so that's even better. Rook g4 takes. He goes here. I play king g6, attacking the pawn. Now I do protect the g5 pawn, which is attacking. I take it. I go here. I'm now able to take this pawn, and now obviously this is very good. And now look at this move. Yeah, rook c4 once again. Because even though it may look scary that he, you know, is eyeing these 2 pawns, if he goes for this pawn, I'm gonna go here, and I'm actually gonna win the pawn. And if he goes rook e7, which is what happened in the game, I go king f6, attacking the rook, and now I go here, and my opponent resigns. So I thought these 4 games were really cool, and I made it kind of like easy. I have made still 2 huge blunders, which I have to, you know, be careful of. But apart from that, I thought this was really great. Make sure to like, guys, and subscribe if you like this video. Make sure to let me down. Make sure to let me know down in the comments if you like these videos where I talk about my games afterwards, or if I, you know, explain my thought process during the games. But obviously, as you can see, I have reached rating on 1998. So hopefully, the game that I'm gonna play right now is gonna give me to 2000 elo. And we're gonna push for 21 and obviously 2200. Thank you for watching, and I'll hopefully see you tomorrow. Peace.